So to start, as we know, withdrawing an item is a thing we don't necessarily do very often, but it is a thing that is important to be able to do. And as in Symphony, you have to be very sure what the difference is between withdrawing something and deleting something. So just to start, take a look. I did start writing some documentation on this. If you're withdrawing an item from FOLIO, that means you're going to mark the item as withdrawn in FOLIO. That's literally what you do. You mark it as withdrawn. This does not remove the item from FOLIO. And so that barcode of that item is still searchable and can't be used on anything else. Not that it should ever have been used on anything else, but it will still be there. With the withdrawing at the moment, as far as we know, the item will still be visible in SearchWorks if you just withdraw it, okay? Now, deleting an item, which is actually also surprisingly easy to do in FOLIO, as long as you have the permissions, which I think most people watching this do have, will completely remove the item from FOLIO. Just as in Symphony, removing an item should be done with great caution, especially so right now because we do not yet fully understand the ramifications of deletion. We don't know how that interacts with SearchWorks. We have a vague idea with withdrawing things, but we do not really completely know with SearchWorks. So my suggestion to you, until we hear other words, always prefer withdrawing something over deleting something. If we decide we want to get rid of those withdrawals, we can always do a report sometime and delete them all. But deletion is forever. Once you've deleted something, it's gone. So deletion is forever. Withdrawing sits on the fence, right? So you still know where something is. The other thing that comes into this is suppress from discovery. And so suppress from discovery is the action of preventing an item from displaying in SearchWorks. And this is, and so it's something that's often paired with other procedures, such as withdrawing an item. Suppressing from discovery by itself does not remove the item from FOLIO or withdraw it. These are actually separate procedures. And just as an aside, we do not know how long it takes at the moment for FOLIO to communicate that suppress from discovery to SearchWorks.
I know it's not always like a one-to-one, but is this similar to shadowing an item in FOLIO?
Very much. It's exactly the same as shadowing an item in Symphony. And yes, that was going to be my final line.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I have a question though. If you withdraw something and you don't, if you do withdraw something, you don't suppress it from discovery. So it will be, you can find it in SearchWorks. So what actually have you done by withdrawing it? It's just
you have marked it as withdrawn in FOLIO.
So that actually nothing.
Why don't we go on to actually doing it, and then you will see. Okay. Okay, let us move to FOLIO. Oh, and I forgot to do something here. I'm just going to do something quick. We're going to go back to my famous record here. Oh no, I did do it. Okay. I'm going to add an item here. So we have two items on one. I don't think it likes letters. Okay, we're going to add an item here. Sorry, I meant to do this before I came in. I forgot. Loan type, circulate, permanent location, L3 stacks. Okay, so if I go to the holdings and hit that accordion button, you see that this holdings has 2 items attached to it. So we have 2 items that have the same call number for the same instance available. Now, let's say that second one, well, let's see, I'm not going to say I created an error because I didn't, but let's say, you know, they're clearing out the Green West stacks and they're getting rid of all the copy twos, the second copies of something. So we want to get rid of this, right? So, and what we want to get rid of is the item here. We don't want to get rid of the whole bib record, obviously, because there is another instance there that we're keeping. So we go into our item record. And you see, you know, it shows what the instance is and its title, and Zoom things get in the way. You notice we have an item notation up here, the item, its barcode, and that it's available, right? So what we are going to do, we go to actions, and this is so easy, it's crazy. You notice all these things down here, mark is missing, oh, mark is withdrawn. So we are going to mark this as withdrawn. And it shows you a little pop-up box that says this item status will be marked as withdrawn. So we confirm that. And if you see up at the top there, it now says it is withdrawn. As opposed to available, it is withdrawn, okay? That may end up eventually in SearchWorks that will be enough to hide it, but we don't know yet. So what we are going to do is also a couple more things. Oops, why is that doing that? Because I'm on the wrong side of my keypad. So we're going to go to actions again. We are going to edit that item, that withdrawn item. We are going to suppress it from discovery, which is an easy enough thing to do. We just click the box. That is actually very similar to Symphony. We click a box and if you want to do the whole record. But then we're also going to go down. This is a bit new and we're playing with it at the moment. I'm going to go down to the item notes. And we have a new note type called withdrawn. And I am going to put here now my SUNET ID, the date. Don't worry about how it's, I'm just going to say copy to withdrawn. Symphony, we have been putting in sometimes, at least some people put in notes that they withdrew it, who withdrew it and the date. But often we do actually like to know why something is withdrawn, and this is what gives you the chance to do it. How we are going to set up these notes, we're not sure yet. We only got that note type last Friday, I think. So that is how we will do that. And then we can save and close. And you notice it says item is suppressed from discovery. Gives you a little orange box to tell you. And it says up here, it is withdrawn. And as far as we know, to withdraw an item, it is as easy as that. Once you get up to, but you notice that I was doing item 2, and there is an item 1 on that whole. What we don't know yet, we're trying to find out, and I may have a message now that actually tells me, but I'll look after I stop sharing my screen, that if you delete the last holdings, the last item on a holdings, whether you have to suppress the holding record from discovery or not, and so forth up the chain. And as, or you know, if you then withdraw the last holding, whether you have to withdraw the instance. We don't think so, but we still need to find that out. So that in 10 minutes is how you actually withdraw something. And I'm happy to